Hi and welcome back. Nathan Cole here of natesviolin.com, and this is it, the third and final video in my trill series. We had trill preparation, or mastering trills with all finger combinations, and then we had the famous trill drill. Well, I'm making it famous starting here and now. That's part of my daily warm-up. And finally now adding double stops. Double stops are such an important part of violin technique. As you know, if you've started on that advanced repertoire or looking at playing some advanced repertoire, you're going to encounter double stops. But unlike some other techniques which are impressive for their own sake and maybe not impressive otherwise, double stops are impressive because they so help build the hand for great intonation and technique. When I encounter people who are kind of weak in double stops, it always points to some other weakness of the left hand. And so by working on double stops, you will improve your overall intonation, your facility, the balance of the hand, even right hand technique as well, because you need such an exact and beautiful contact point and bow contact to play those double stops. So this trill drill double, if we want to call it, trill drill double trouble maybe. I don't know if you were a fan of Archie comics, but they always have those names like that, double trouble. So we'll call it that. And we're going to use the same bowls that we used for the second video, the trill drill. And of course, if you're like me and you want to put those on some playing cards, you can go ahead and do that. Makes my practicing more fun. One of the problems of practicing double stop scales for many people is that there's so much shifting involved, right? If you've got a scale in thirds, you play two notes already, now you've got to shift. And then again, you're shifting every two notes, or for octaves, you're shifting every note. And you should practice that, and you should be able to do it. But it can be nice to practice double stops within a position and to feel that frame of the hand that doesn't move, to gain the facility within the frame. That's so important. So make sure that you have seen the first two videos in this series. The first video lays out the technique of preparing trills and just kind of best practices for all of that. And of course, the second video tells you how to use these cards, or just the slips of paper if that's what you want. That paper, those slips, can be found on natesviolin.com. The link's in the description here. Make sure you download that, unless you just feel like handwriting out all the key signatures and notes. So I'm going to draw, as before, draw my starting card. Okay, here we've got the Magician with a D. This D here. So for trill drill, I would be playing that with the first finger, right? Let me draw my key signature too. The Tower, 3 flats. So according to trill drill, my 4 notes are D, E flat, F, and G. In trill drill, normal trill drill, that D would be on the first finger. But for the double trouble version, we're always going to start on third finger because we need some double stops. So we've got the same 4 notes, D, E flat, F, and G, but I'm going to put them all down at the same time, and I'm across now 2 strings, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now just having these 4 fingers down, I want to feel some lightness to the hand. I want to feel that I can hold these notes, hold this position without any undue strain. If I'm feeling strain, then it's likely that I am either just squeezing too hard. Watch especially between that thumb and first finger to make sure there's no squeezing going on there. Or it could be that I'm reaching up, probably not for this low 4, but especially with some other key signatures, I might be reaching up for the 4th finger, and that's never a good idea. You want to have 3 and 4 comfortable and reach back for 1 and 2. So it's another reason to start with the 3rd finger. Get those nice and comfortable, then reach back for 1 and 2. You can see that first finger there, reached back. That's a good, healthy position for a low 1. Now with these, of course, I've got two thirds that I can play. And we are going to trill on those thirds, but before we do that, we're going to trill on some other combinations since we've got this nice frame set up here. We're going to play that lower third, 3-1, and we're going to trill with 1 and 2. Again, I want to feel that lightness in the hand. I don't want to have any squeezing. Now I'm going to put 4 down and trill with 1 and 2. I'll go between those now, 3 and then 4. Now I'll chain them right together. I'm getting some unevenness in my 1-2 trill, and I would repeat it for that reason, but I won't. I'll spare you that now. Now we're going to put down, we're going to trill with 3 and 4 instead. So again, I'll start with my lower third, 3-1. We're going to trill with 3-4. And as you know, trilling with that fourth finger especially, make sure that you stop the string adequately and lift with energy so that you hear clean notes. My 2 always wants to get in on the action when my 4 is trilling. And now putting down 2. And I'll chain them together. Don't worry, this takes a little time to get your head around, but it feels so good in the hand once you can. So, just to go over those combinations again, I'm always going to start on the lower third. I'm going to do 2 combinations trilling with 1-2. And then 2 combinations trilling with 3-4. And finally, I'll trill between the 2 thirds. You want to listen like a hawk? No, listen like a bat or something, to make sure that you're getting things synced up. If you start hearing, then you know you're trying to go too fast. 4 and 2 lift together. And this can be especially useful to build up in the way that we built up trills in the first video, right? Whew. So that is one combination. Let me draw another card, another 2 cards. Starting note and a key signature, mix them up. Here's the King of Swords on an A. That would be an open A. Of course, now it'll be with a 3rd finger. Mix up the key signatures. We've got 3 flats. Let's see if I can get a sharp key signature. 4 sharps, all right. Ooh, the Hanged Man. I had that upside down. A with 4 sharps. That won't affect our starting note. On a 3rd finger. All right, 3 whole steps. This ought to be interesting. So, let me get all 4 fingers down. And now I'm going to do my 2 combinations. First trilling with 1-2, then a 3-4. Now trilling with 3-4. And now the 2 thirds. Especially with that whole step between 3 and 4, I start to hear some uncleanliness, lifting that 4. Ooh, it is tough sometimes to want to keep the lightness in the hand with that, but you've got to do it both to preserve your hand and to build the kind of technique that makes this work useful. So that is the Trill Drill Double Trouble. Again, you can download the worksheet where I've done the work for you of putting together those starting notes and key signatures. Download that link in the description on natesviolin.com. And why don't you subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, and then you'll know anytime I post a new video. I would love to see you back here. Happy practicing.